I have been working on this VMax for so long, and it is time to get it done. If this is your first time seeing this motorcycle, this is a 1998 Yamaha VMax that I bought for $700. Thankfully, this motorcycle runs and it rides. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend the next week trying to make this a show motorcycle. Now, I've poured a bunch of cash into this motorcycle. I've stopped counting because I don't want to know. But thankfully, Flying Eyes has jumped in to help me get this thing over the finish line. And not only are we gonna finish it, we're gonna try to finish it in 1 week. Day one, people, and today it is lights. So I have a fresh set of stock lights. These are actually used off of eBay because the new ones are really expensive. And then I also have a set of LEDs. I have been playing with the LEDs and they're not really working right. So I'm gonna try to set them up. I have one more test I needed to do. And then from there, if they don't work, we're gonna slap on the stock lights. So let's dive on in. This should be real easy, but nothing on the VMax has been easy before. Now I gotta get any important hardware out of here. Okay, so I just spent a little bit of time wiring up these lights here with a flasher relay, or not a relay, but a load balancing resistor. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna test them, because I've tested them a couple of different configurations, but what I have not done is put 4 load balancing resistors on the lights. So we'll be able to see up here really easily what's going on. So hyper flash. Damn it. That's what I was afraid of. But that's why I got the incandescents. So one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna take some water and a rag and clean up the plastic there, because it's a little nasty. I put a fancy new headlight in there because the old one was really dull, so this one should be really nice and bright. Let's get this mounted up. Boom, baby. All right, we're back at the table and a little overexposed. But anyway, this is something that I've been waiting to put on the VMax for 6 months, something like that. That is flawless carbon fiber for a new tail end. So I'm gonna put all the hardware back in here, and then we're gonna mount this sucker up. Okay, so I've been working a while, and I took on a different project just because I wanted to test it out. And I've been staring at these for a long time. And what you'll notice is that this is way nicer than the original one. So basically what I did was I had my buddy who's got a sandblaster. He hit this with some walnut media and got it right down to the aluminum. And then I took my, I have this abrasive ball attachment right there, and I just used that to brush it myself. Took out a lot of the imperfections. So what I decided to do is take everything off of this. This is the tail rack right here, but it's nasty. So it'll look better if I cut it up. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Now I wanted to take a quick second, not only to give you a glimpse into the future to see what this bike looks like when it's all done, but I also wanted to say another thank you to the folks over at Flying Eyes for helping me make this thing happen. If you're new around here, Flying Eyes makes the best sunglasses for motorcyclists because they're designed with these super thin and flexible stems that fit between your head and your helmet with no pressure points. And while it's nice that these sunglasses are nice and flexible, that's actually not my favorite magic trick with them. I actually like to do this more. It's hard to find another pair of sunglasses that you can just run over with a motorcycle and have them come out just fine. But if you're out there accidentally running over your sunglasses with your motorcycle, Flying Eyes has you covered because they have a scratch warranty on the lenses, so you can get those replaced. And if you needed one more reason to support Flying Eyes, they're a local company that has been helping me out for almost 3 years now. Do me a favor, show them some love down in the comments section, and while you're down there, click that link and use the code SC10 to get 10% off your own pair of Flying Eyes. They also have prescription options available. Oh, and spoiler alert, I got this motorcycle accepted into the handbill show. Day 2, I don't remember where day 1 ended, but I did spend a lot of time off camera, basically just brushing aluminum. Let me show you how this turned out. So you'll notice that it's actually on the bike, but this is glorious. And then I wanted this to match too. So I did that. There's some stuff that I missed that I'll come back and do a little bit later, but I did finally get the tail end back together with the lights. However, they're doing something weird. I have incandescents all the way around, right? Right side, all good. Left side, hyper flash with the incandescents. I think I'm just gonna need to get 4 new bulbs for all of these and then see if that's the case. Like this one right here, that guy's real weak. So versus that over there, this thing's real weak. So I'll probably just swing by an AutoZone, but for the next step, I want to get new grips on this bike because these grips look like shit. Tell me that doesn't look great. Today's task is taking the bike to the carb doctor. They're usually pretty busy, so I'm hoping that they can get it done. That's why I did so much work kind of off screen, because I need this thing to finally be running right, and it's not. Once that's done, everything else is elementary. Reassembling the rear brake, doing putting new rotors on it, all sorts of stuff that's really, really simple. I need the bike to be running. So we're gonna take it in back to Limey Bikes. They're gonna knock it out, and then fingers crossed. It is always such a pain in the ass getting the VMax in this van. It's so heavy, especially now with the exhaust. The Delcavics are so wide, but it's hard to get it past me. So I have to get it like up on the bed, put it into first gear, get up, and then pull it in the rest of the way. Whatever, hopefully this is the last time I'm having to load it up in a van. That's wishful thinking, I know, but I don't care. The VMax, I hate backing away from it. I have the tank cover here just because I've got some molding coming in so that I can, seal this all right. And I gotta do some more of the aesthetic stuff back home, but the folks here at Limey Bikes, they know what they're doing. They're gonna take care of it, get everything happy, and they actually have my tires, which are over there, so they're gonna slap the new tires on there too. These guys know what they're doing, so they're gonna get it running right, make it happy, and then I'll just bolt the rest of the shit on there. So I just gotta make sure I have everything ready to go for them. Bye, VMax. See you next week. Well, folks, welcome to day whatever it says on the screen. I don't remember what day of the week challenge this is, but because, you know, I had to take a little bit of a break while the VMax was at the carb doctor. It is now back, and I have bolted up all the bits and bobs. As you can see, the covers are on over there. And today, that is not this motorcycle's license plate. We are going to go get this thing registered, and we're going to get the title transferred and actually make this motorcycle legal to ride on the street, because it's close enough. It's good enough for me. Away we go. No issues whatsoever. So, what needs doing on this motorcycle still? What will finish this challenge up? Well, obviously I need to get it cleaned, but more importantly, I need to address the entire braking system on this bike. And that'll happen first. The front brakes, they don't feel right. They work. They absolutely work, and I would not be doing this if they did not work. So obviously that's okay. Second thing, I need to bleed the coolant. The coolant is old on this bike. Right now I'm just kind of running it because I want to get whatever's in there pumping. I want to get it moving, because if there's any like sediment settled in there, I need to essentially go to Walmart, get a couple of gallons of DI, distilled water, and from there I can empty what's in here, fill it all the way up, let it run and filter out a bit, and then go through it all over again. Then I need to reattach the rear brake caliper. It is not on the motorcycle. The rear brake switch does in fact work, and that should be all I need to get this bike inspected. And then after that, that's kinda it. We're gonna have to do a little bit more work, and then I need to put about 200 miles on this thing before I can take it back into Limey for its last tune, because the engine's still a little bit stoved up. It's still kind of stuck. So I'm gonna unstuck the motor, and then we'll go from there. But I gotta tell you, man, riding this thing as it sits right now is a pretty incredible feeling. I'm not gonna lie. You know, sure, there's problems with this motor. I don't care. I really don't. It fucking works, man. Yes, the front suspension needs a complete rebuild. It's definitely leaking. And yes, my steering head bearings are messed up. I don't care. I'm riding the VMax, man. I'm also just riding it very carefully because, you know, things could go sideways relatively quickly on this motorcycle. But that's besides the point, because I'm on the VMax. Feels so good, man. It feels so good. All right, let's get this thing inspected, and then it's going for its longest journey. Well, this actually already is its longest journey, but then it will be going for its longest journey into downtown Austin. Well, boys and girls, the VMax just passed state inspection, which means it is now time to go do the title transfer and registration. So let's get rolling. I gotta boogie down the toll roads, which that'll be an interesting experience on this guy for the first time. So let's get to stepping.
Alrighty, people, the fucking VMax is on the toll road. This is the fastest this motorcycle has gone in decades, and I gotta tell you, it is cruising so smooth right now. It's insane how nice this thing feels. But man alive, dude, it is working. I never thought I'd get here, honestly. After like 6 months of just seeing this thing sitting in the garage in pieces with no gas tank in it, or not running, or no carburetors in it, or missing throttle cables. I mean, it's still missing a brake caliper, but, you know, details, who cares? The steering head bearing is still kind of screwed. The front suspension needs to be rebuilt. It's leaking. I have ridden much worse motorcycles than this for longer distances. The Raspberry Buffet, that was terrifying. This is not. This thing cruises better than the Raspberry Buffet. Take that, shade tree surgeon. It also sounds great. This thing sounds amazing. 72,000 miles later, I got it running. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Now it's time for it to face the music and traffic. I do have a switch for the fan. I really hope this bike doesn't overheat. I don't think it will, but you never know. Suspension check. Not bad. Not bad. This is a rolling piece of history, and everything's working. Everything's working as intended. Except for the rear brake and the front suspension and the steering head bearings, but it's good enough. Again, details. All right, let's kick on the fan and roll through this traffic. I gotta get down to the south side, so we'll see how it does. Well, no dice today. The inspection paperwork can take like 24 hours to get uploaded into the system, and then something is going on with the Diavel, where I need to come back on Friday. Whatever, bureaucracy. I don't have a good record with it on the best of days, and just not having any luck. But such is life. So maybe now I go home and I put the rear brake caliper on there, maybe, and service the front end. Seems like a good idea, doesn't it? Okay, folks. Next working day. I forget which one we're on now, but some stuff did happen off camera that I want to show you real quick. So first, I put all of the panels back on the bike. So we've got these side panels here, which I finished brushing. I've got this carbon fiber tank cover, which is just absolutely glorious. Look at how perfect the weave is. And then I also have a matching cover for the gauge cluster there. I've got the tail put together there, and then over here you can see the other cover. But it's still pretty rough around the edges right now. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I put a new seat on this because where's the old one? This is the old one. And it doesn't really match the overall color scheme I'm going for here. So I picked up a nice seat off of, I believe this is a 2005, but this is a factory seat, which is nice. So it just bolted right up, not particularly difficult. And then I've got the key for the gas cap tied up under here. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Well, there is coolant in there. It's a good sign. Wow, that's a lot of coolant. I hope I have enough. I'm not entirely sure that even drained the radiator because there's a radiator drain I need to hit. Okay, only one way to find out. Man, I just took the coolant reservoir tank off and it was disgusting. So I had to pull all the rubber out and hit it with some of my brake cleaner just to get all the sediment out of here. It does have me a little bit worried about what the inside of the coolant system looks like. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill it up with this nice engine ice stuff and then run it for 200 miles and then drain it again and see what happens. So. Oh, shit. Well, found out how much is enough. It almost takes a solid half gallon of coolant. That's insane. Okay, good to know. All right, now let's start it up and let it cycle and burp the radiator a little bit. All right, fine, I'll give you some choke. There it goes, now it's happy. All right, let's get those covers back on. I assume at some point this cover actually like had a retaining bolt of some kind, but I can't find one, so it just sits there. Let me know if I'm
missing something here, or if that just sits in place. The climber manual is not telling me. Cool. Now it's time to do battle against the rear brake. That's not going to be fun. I can't imagine how nasty this is going to be. You know what? I've seen worse. There it is. Jesus, that was on there. That bolt is actually not bad. I'm gonna reuse that. Well, brake line's off. I've got a spare brake caliper for the rear. I'm just gonna go straight for this as opposed to the one that I have. The one that I have feels seized up. Gotta replace the pads though. These old pads had plenty of life in them, but they're old. I don't want to clean them up. So I've got some new ones. Just goes in like that. And then like that. And then this kind of goes like that-ish. And then slide the pins in. Ta-da! Let's put it on the bike. I may actually have a problem with this new one. The pistons aren't moving. So I'm gonna set it up, bleed it, and see if it'll actually like close, and then I can force it open. I wish I had some pad spreaders, but I don't. I'll just use a screwdriver and be very careful about it. But if I can at least get the pistons to start moving a little bit, where there's movement, there can be improved movement. So the hydraulic system is gonna be able to apply more pressure than I can. All right, let's bleed this system and see what happens. Well, I've got it on there. I'm not super happy with the play. Here, let me pop it into neutral. There's a lot of contact here. And I'm wondering if that's just because it's new or if those pistons aren't releasing properly. I'm not sure I like the way that feels. I'm gonna see what my other one looks like real quick, but short of putting that one on, I'm just maybe gonna take a ride and see what happens. Well, I'm pretty sure that rear caliper is dragging right now, which sucks because that was the better looking one that I ordered as a replacement. So I'm gonna have to put my original one back on and hope that I didn't glaze the pads. I only went like a couple of blocks, so it should be okay. And then I'll hit the rotor with some Scotch-Brite and some brake cleaner, and then reassemble this. And then once I do that, I need to put the new rotors on the front caliper, which I actually think I'm going to start there because I have to pull the front wheel off, which means I can't really do it on the lift. And then I have these right here, which are much prettier looking front calipers. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the old calipers have a bunch of bubbling on it from where brake fluid has just been sitting on the paint, and so the paint is a little bit rough. And I'm gonna just hit these with some like SC1 so that they look a lot shinier, and then I'm gonna install them on the front end. So let's get to work. Oh, I also need to put the front fender on, which means I'm gonna need to brush another piece of aluminum. God damn it. There's so much shit that I gotta do. I'm running out of time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it a week. That one looks pretty spent to me. time. 13:16 while filming. Not bad for 2 rotors. That was a big job dealing with that front rim. The biggest pain in the butt was actually getting that cover, that mounting bracket, shiny. That was a pain in the ass. It took forever. In the meantime, though, I need to finish the front brakes. So, yay! As you can tell by my hair, I finally went and took a ride to bed down the front brake pads. Oh my God, do they feel so good. I gotta say, bleeding these front brakes sucks. It's a horrible process, but they feel so much better now. It's like they're actually progressive. Before it was like brakes full on 100%. So what that means to me is that those front calipers are probably seized. Now, don't know what's going on in the rear. Let's touch this caliper and see what's happening. Ooh, hot. It's really dragging. Okay, so I do have the one that was on the bike. I was able to get it to close all the way, so if it closes all the way, maybe it'll return. Kind of hope those pads aren't fucked in the back. Maybe I can hit it. I can definitely hit the rotor with some Scotch-Brite and brake cleaner, and that'll be fine. But I don't know about the pads. Maybe I'll just say fuck it and see what happens. I did bleed the clutch, though. The clutch is still feeling a little funny. Let me show you. So I did put on a set of aftermarket levers just because I needed a little bit of adjustability. The clutch is really heavy. It's, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not sure if it's excessively heavy or not. Before it used to feel like ass, like the lever perch was just so full of gunk that when I installed these, I cleaned it out. Did the same thing over here, and the front brake lever feels really, really nice. This feels like, I don't know, I'm probably pulling 20 pounds, would be my guess. 20 to 30 pounds. This is very, very heavy. Don't know what's going on there. I do know that there is a mod to basically make the diaphragm a lot more like a modern bike. So maybe I'll have to do the clutch. See you tomorrow. Well, folks, this project kind of got away from me this time. Just a lot of little things happened, and we hit the holidays and everything ran away. So I'm gonna go over a lot of the things that happened that also occurred off camera, because some stuff occurred off camera, mostly just because it wasn't particularly interesting. First and foremost is I replaced the handlebars. So these were the stock handlebars. They're a little bit narrow. They're like weirdly tight when I'm sitting on the bike, and they're also just kind of nasty. I like the stock grips, don't get me wrong, I like the look of them, but I also wanted to just modernize things a little bit. So I went with a Renthal silver, kind of the wrinkle silver look. It just looks a lot nicer. And then I put a set of Rizoma grips on here, silver and black naturally, and I put some CRG lane splitters on there. That's just a nice little aesthetic improvement, just to lower the bars generally. It just makes the bike feel a little bit more modern, but also it doesn't look super crazy modern. It's just a subtle improvement. Next thing you'll notice is there are a handful of little bits and bobs on the bike. So first and foremost, I put this cover on the back of the, whatchamacallit, the Speedo here. That was hard to find. Another part that was hard to find, these carb covers. These things come straight to us from Australia. This comes to us from Germany. So a lot of parts from all over the world. I did also figure out what was going on with my blinkers. I spent an entire day chasing down so many possible grounding errors. And what did I find? One of the blinkers, this front left one, the light bulb was in backwards. And so it wasn't getting a good enough contact. And when it comes to this kind of setup on the bike, blinkers, power is sent, not drawn, or it's drawn, not sent. I can't remember, but anyway, if it's not grounded, that's what causes it to speed up. And so, yeah, bad ground. And it just so happened that it was up here, and I spent an entire day hunting grounds down, and it was right there. Should have just started with checking the bulbs. And then obviously we have brushed aluminum just about everywhere. I brushed it all myself. There are some bits and bobs that I do still need to finish, but these scoops, they look and feel so nice. They're brushed, and they also have a layer of SC1 on there to help keep anything from oxidizing. It's not really super great at that, but it does the job. And then the carbon fiber everywhere on the bike is just looking phenomenal. The biggest disappointment, it's the China rotors. I bought these rotors for this bike. They're from Walmart. They're some no-name brand. It was cheaper to buy the entire set of 3 rotors than it is to buy one single nice rotor. Put everything together, and sure enough, they warped. They warped. So the front rotors are gonna need to be replaced. The rear rotor is completely smoked because the caliper seized. So I have to rebuild the calipers. I need to rebuild the rotor, or I need to replace the rotors. So this is a case where saving money costs me money in the long term. But other than that, the VMax is almost done. There are 3 major things that need to happen still. 1, I need to put the brakes back on this bike. 2, it needs a carb sync one more time because I have put down now 500 miles, or maybe closer to 1,000 at this point. I've actually lost track because it just runs. And then lastly, the front suspension needs a full rebuild. It is real janky right now. But there's also, somewhere in this frame, the final modification that we're putting on this motorcycle. So check it out, see if you can spot it. And in the meantime, guys, catch you in the next one. See you later.